One Republican senator's stance on the Black Lives Matter movement sparking swift and ongoing backlash. Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler is part owner of the WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream, and spoke out against a plan for players to wear warm-up jerseys with Black Lives Matter and say her name on them, even doubling down by calling BLM a, quote, radical movement that seeks to destroy American principles. Critics now say her stance is a political ploy to gain votes in a tight race to retain her Senate seat, as one Washington Post op-ed puts it, quoting, she betrayed the WNBA using its support of Black Lives Matter to manufacture a straw man for her political pandering. Senator Kelly Loeffler of Georgia joins us now. You're against the WNBA players. Senator Loeffler, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. You're against them wearing Black Lives Matter on their warm-up jerseys because you disagree with Black Lives Matter as a political movement. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, thanks for having me on, Trace. That's right. Look, there's a big difference between the statement, Black Lives Matter. Of course, the life of every African American matters. We have to root out racism where it exists. But the political organization, Black Lives Matters, is very different. It has Marxist foundations, and it's important that people understand what their goals are, because sports should be about unifying. Look, I grew up playing sports. All of us around the country wanted our sports during the pandemic. They have the power to unite us like nothing else. And in fact, you know, this is the opportunity. But this political platform, Black Lives Matter, is funded through Act Blue, which raises money for liberal organizations and Democrats. It has the objectives of defunding the police, of defunding the military, of destroying the nuclear family. It's anti-Semitic. It promotes violence in our cities, and I think it's very important that Americans know this.
Yeah, you say that we need less politics in sports. The journalist Roxanne Jones wrote this, saying maybe you're not doing exactly that. Quoting here, she's playing to her crowd and likely hopes her race-baiting message will resonate in November when she faces a tough special election among a field of 20 other candidates for her U.S. Senate seat. The Republican senator was appointed back in 2019 by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, and ironically, or perhaps intentionally, the senator appears guilty of the very thing she's accusing the WNBA of doing, injecting politics into sports. In your response?
It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous, because guess what? Free speech applies to all Americans, no matter what your political party is. And the threat of being canceled because you don't toe the line with a message, with a political message, is dangerous. That's not what this country is about. I mean, look, China does that when Hong Kong protests, but America doesn't do that when someone speaks out. And I've always supported my players when they have different views. I've never suggested that anyone shouldn't be on the team for having a different view. We all have to come together and welcome. That's what makes us free, is a diversity of views. And so I find it outrageous to suggest that protecting free speech is political. It's for all Americans. And I've received tremendous support from so many saying, thank you for standing up. Thank you for having a backbone for our country.
What do you make of some of your former players coming out against you? I mean, your opponent, clearly, Congressman Doug Collins, says that you're trying to just boost your conservative credentials. But then you have former Dream point guard Laisha Clarendon saying, who now, by the way, is with the New York Liberty, saying that she's kind of ashamed that she went to your house for dinner. Your thoughts on that?
Well, look, Collins is always pandering to the left, to the fake news, to the liberal media. Look, this is not about me. This is not about the team. This is about the right of all Americans to be able to express themselves, whether it's religious speech, free speech, political speech, anything, and not be canceled for it. You know, this is what's happening across the country. You hear small businesses, large businesses saying, we're being boycotted because we spoke out about a candidate or a cause. That's just wrong. That shouldn't happen in America.
Senator Kelly Loeffler, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, Trace.
Also here tonight, Victor Davis Hanson. He is a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution and author of The Case for Trump. Victor, always great to see you. What do you make of the backlash that Senator Loeffler is facing now?
Well, it's pretty predictable by now. I mean, it's kind of a psychological act of projection.